lot of people are writing to me and asking me about Big Lenny footage and where it's going to be available. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Strength Addicts on all social media platforms, powered by Iron Mag Labs. Make your mark with IML. Visit ironmaglabs.com today. Actually, right here, Dream and Grow. This product right here, I was looking all over the desk for it because I took it last night and I slept like a baby. If you want deep REM sleep, visit ironmaglabs.com today and check out Dream and Grow. Just try one bottle. I'm telling you, you're going to freaking love it. So, a lot of people, since I posted my video honoring, remembering Big Lenny, have asked me, where is the treasure trove of content? Where are all the audios and the videos and the B-sides and the outtakes? And I think you know the answer to that, guys. I mean, the Delray Misfits have it. And I don't know if it's Prince Andrew and Big Brad or if it's just Prince Andrew. I'm leaning more towards Prince Andrew because he was a technical guy. He was a camera guy, but that doesn't mean he was necessarily the guy that was storing the content. So there's a few issues to talk about. And you guys know that I'm an attorney, so that may bleed over into it a little bit in sense of like talking about like the legal implications and whatnot. But first of all, I don't know if the Delray Misfits were incorporated, if they had an LLC or a sole proprietorship or a partnership. These are all distinct because, for example, if they had a partnership, let's say that it was, I'm just going to say Brad and Andrew, then they would both have to be on the same page. And then there's sort of like things that one partner could do, for example, without the other partner's blessing, but would have to give that other partner 50% of the proceeds after everything was paid, that sort of thing. If it's a sole proprietorship, we would assume it would be Prince Andrew, right? Because as a cameraman, again, I'm saying cameraman because when you're the cameraman, you've got the little SIM card or whatever, the flash card, whatever that's called. I have so many of them, I don't even know what they're called. But it could be Brad also. Sometimes, maybe, we don't know this, I don't know this at least, but maybe Brad was the money guy or the guy that made the money decisions. And maybe Andrew was the entertainment guy, in which case maybe Brad would be the sole proprietor kind of thing. If it's a corporation, like an S Corp or shit, it could be an S Corp, it could be a C Corp, it could be, there's just so many different corporations. It could be an LLC, a limited liability corporation. Then it's questionable, like who has the say, who owns most of the shares. Does Andrew have 75 and does Brad have 25? It would be really crazy if Big Lenny was a shareholder or if Big Lenny was an officer in the corporation and Big Lenny died without a will. Or if their, articles of incorporation don't have, anything that talks about, well, what happens if a partner or a shareholder passes intestate without a will or even independent of the will? Do we have, a sort of pecking order set in place? And they may not. A lot of times when people do AOIs, they just boilerplate it, change the names and sign it, get it notarized, that sort of thing. But assuming that, whoever owned it would allow it to come out, Delray Misfits, it would be their channel, it would be their platforms. I know they did a podcast. I don't know if the podcast was on YouTube or not. They may have put it also on YouTube, but it may have originated somewhere else. So, but listen, they all lived in the same area. That's how they met each other. And so there's probably tons of content. Why do I make that point about them living so close to each other? Because a lot of times, I know that you may not believe this, but a lot of the things that we watch, because I watch it too, on Instagram or TikTok or right here on YouTube, what I watch mostly is on YouTube. If we're going to talk about, a distribution like pie graph of minutes spent, I'm on YouTube way more than any other app. But anyways, if you wanted to see it on those apps kind of thing, it would be a situation where, they would just be able to like make something unlisted public or something private public. It would be very simple for them to do that, assuming that they were on the same page and wanted to. But then comes the issue of, if they're not, then what? And I know that this sounds crazy to some, but they were big enough as to where they could have also sold their content. In other words, sold their originals. And you might say, well, why would somebody want to buy that? Well, because you can cut it up, You can remix it, meaning you can. I mean, I don't know that companies usually do this unless it's like for like an ad or something. Like if somebody, if like I don't know, Jason was on there and said, um, I don't know, like I feel great. You know, tacos are cheaper now, and people just love cake, and I love cake, and these supplements are great. Well, they could clip it to say where Jason says, "I feel great. These supplements are great." I mean, and just cut everything out from the middle and make it look like totally like cut up, and put some music to it. You know what I mean? And then there you got your Christmas sale ad right there, and they own the content, and they wouldn't have to pay the Delray Misfits any residuals. They wouldn't have to pay the people like Jason that are in the video any kind of money, any royalties, any residuals, anything. So I know that we almost worked together for RMAG TV, and I know what they wanted. I offered them a pretty good number, but they wanted a lot more. So they knew what they were worth, or at least an idea of what they were worth. And then shortly after that, I feel like, I think that's when they started like doing stuff with Dave. Because remember, I did 80 episodes of Muscle in the Morning. I wrote for RX Muscle. I wrote what Dave said for 80 episodes of 5 to 6, 7 minutes each. I'm just saying, I know Dave maybe a little bit better than you guys might. That's not to say that we're buddies or that I know him, like, we grew up together or whatever. It just means that I have maybe just a little bit more insights than the average person watching on a YouTube video. And initially, this is no discredit to Dave, but initially Dave was not like getting it. He had no issue with the Misfits, and I'm sure that he wished them well, like he wishes everybody well, but he didn't get it. He didn't understand. And how I know that is because for a few different episodes of the 80 that I wrote of Muscle in the Morning, I put in about stuff about them. And Johnny Styles, who was the producer, kind of said no. Or Dave said no and told him to tell me no, or something like that. Just because it didn't, at that time, MD was not covering the Misfits. I don't believe that, what's the other one? Project Bodybuilding, the late, great Matt Mainrod. I don't think he was covering it. I don't think Waylon Martin with his Honor and Affinity was covering it. I don't think Anders with Rising Muscle was covering it. I don't think anybody was covering it, okay? So they were not getting interviews. They were not getting write-ups. They were not getting features. They were not getting interviews. They were not getting any of that from the bodybuilding media online, So something happened when they appeared at RX Muscle, not too long after that. And then they started getting the MD Love and all the other websites. And at that point, that this is such a huge buildup. But at that point, I feel like they knew they were worth a lot more than they were, say, the year prior when they were negotiating with me for a slot on Iron Mag TV. So what I'm saying is their stock kept rising at a level that was just undeniable. And so it's not totally out of the realm of possibility that they would sell that content to a company or a person or a super fan. That's the other thing. What we cannot forget is that there are Delray Misfits fans, some of which have a lot of money. And some, I've noticed this also from Jason's fans, may not have a lot of money, but they will get their hands on a lot of money, and they will use that money to buy them stuff or buy their merch or whatever, or buy their entire catalog. I mean, I could see Brad and Andrew at the height of their fame. And remember, they're not selling what they're going to do in the future. They're selling their back catalog. So basically, we're talking about when they're at their biggest, selling everything from that point back. And then maybe, the stuff from that point forward, is stuff that they can build to sell in the future. Or maybe they would have a sponsor at that point. Or maybe, I don't know. I always saw Big Lenny in a Divine Nutrition shirt. I don't know that those guys ever linked up or not. But, I mean, they were a force to be reckoned with in South Florida, especially in Palm Beach County, which was the stomping grounds of the Delray Misfits, Jason, all of them. You know what I mean? But, I could see a super fan spending, at that time, And remember now, inflation, you're going to say, oh, that's not that much money. Well, money was worth more then than it is now. I would probably put it in the 10 to 15, maybe $20,000 range. That's big money. I mean, by today's standards, that could easily be, that 20,000 could easily be like 23, 24. That's, I know you're saying, oh, that's not that much. It is a lot of money. $23,000, the buying power of $23,000 today, back, this probably would have been like 19, I would say they were really hitting it. 18, 19, that's when they were hot. I mean, they were just really, really on fire. I could see a fan buying that. And then that would be a real problem, because then we would be at the mercy of that one fan if we ever got to see or hear any of this stuff. There's got to be, listen, folks, the reason I'm making this video is because I've been getting the emails and the DMs because of that video that I made in memory of Big Lenny. And thank you for you guys watching and sending me stuff. But I have, as I said on that video, I have no idea about any of this except for meeting the guy twice. But I'm doing this video because of so many people asking me about this content. And the lawyer in me, I think, got, inspired by it, because you may never see the content. It just, there's a variety, and now even, look, not talking about even the content that was public. We're talking more about the content that you never saw, but that we all know exists. I don't care how punk rock the Delray Misfits purported to be, there are always B's, like B-sides, B-takes, stuff that wasn't good enough to make it, stuff that you never want anyone to see. They had production value. Look, they were trying to, as they got bigger, they wanted to see, I feel like they wanted to seem like they hadn't left their past, like they were true to their roots. And they were in spirit. But hey, those cameras, those LED lights, those timers, that staff, that comes with being successful. And it's different. It's a different quality. It's a different way of doing things. And in that world, there are beat takes, there are outtakes, there are blooper reels, there's audios, those guys, especially when Jay Masters was in the fold and all that, those guys said some pretty insane stuff, which back then was highly controversial. In today's woke cancel culture, it would be electric. But we've never heard it, so we just assume it doesn't exist. I'm telling you, Andrew, Brad, that super fan out there, that company, whoever owns the content, that you're sitting on a treasure trove. That's actually a term used by one of the Big Lenny fans that wrote me. That you're sitting on a treasure trove of media content that if you even just put here on YouTube, and YouTube's great, but I'm just saying there's so many other things you can do in addition to YouTube. Don't forget YouTube, but don't make it your only basket, right? But even if you put it just on YouTube, you would make at least $10,000. I would be shocked if you made any less than that. And it would be sustained hits over a period of time. It would be stuff that people that had been growing up on the Misfits have never seen before. You wouldn't even have to put out all of it in one big chunk. You could put it out 3-minute clip here, 4-minute clip there, a 1-minute short there. You can really give all of that never before seen content, never heard before content. It's day to, shine in the sun or whatever, however you want to look at it. You can give each clip a week or a couple of weeks. You can be putting out new content for years. Why haven't they? I get that the Misfits breakup was really bad. Was it that bad that they're just going to walk away on good money? And more importantly, look, I should have said, are they going to walk away from the fans? But listen, money talks and bullshit walks, okay? So really, money is what it's all about. But what we love, what the fans love and doing right by the fans, it matters. It doesn't matter as much as money, but it matters. And it's nice when you can do something and they're both in line with each other, like doing the right thing and, making money are, like intertwined like a chain, you know what I mean? Then it's fantastic. Then you really feel good about making bank. But I'm being honest here. Look, it would make a lot of financial sense for you guys to release this footage, and the fans would really like it. They would really like it. They would be very appreciative. They would pay for it. Shit, you could put this on Patreon. Put it somewhere, though. You know what I mean? Put it somewhere because people want to see it. The thing is, they may not want to. They may not want to. And, I've heard things from various camps. I'm not trying to get involved in this, guys. I'm not. I don't care about trolls. I love trolls. Had trolls my whole life, But the thing is, those are good people, and I don't want to ruffle any feathers. But there are various camps there. Everybody's got their little microcosm. The real Chris Brock could probably tell you more about this. Kevin Gretsch of Evolution of Bodybuilding has some really, really deep insights into the Misfits as well. Kevin Gretsch does this 24/7. I mean, I sporadically drop an article. Sporadically, I got to get back on my gram too, because I just kind of fell off of that for a week. I mean, but the thing is people know that I'm a lawyer. They know that what I'm all about, and they know that I do what I do when I do it. But the thing is, Kevin is doing it every day, and I believe has some pretty good insights. Dave Palumbo has some very good insights as well. As I said, he had them on a lot. When he became a believer, he was like a zealot. I mean, he had them on a lot, gave them a lot of press, a lot of coverage. Let me tell you something. That also makes your catalog worth more, because, like I said, the Misfits had this real punk vibe to them, and when I say punk, I say that with great respect, like punk rock sort of vibe about, keeping it simple, not overcomplicating things, not a lot of bells and whistles, not, one persona for the camera and one persona in real life, no separating your private life from your public life, and that last one is probably what was their demise. But the thing is that that's all true, okay? That's all true, but each member had their own camp. Each member had their own little army of people following them and people in their ear. And I feel that when they would do these media appearances, even though, maybe it's not very punk rock to have your own little cult of followers or fans or whatever, and maybe it's not punk rock to go out and work up your content, but that's really what they did. A band will do in-store appearances, radio stops, whatever. When you're, on YouTube and you're an influencer, or you are, even if you don't want to be, and you start going on shows and doing interviews, like big platforms like RX Muscle and Muscular Development, Ron Harris's platforms, etc., you're doing the business of music, like we would say, doing the business of bodybuilding. You are doing free shit with big, it's collaborations, because it's free, because you're not getting any money then, but you are getting a lot of value for yourself and whatever, you're putting out there, their podcasts, their videos, because you're being seen on more platforms by more people, and they're starting to make the connection. So what Dave did for them is more than any money he could have put in their pocket, because he basically solidified them as fans, the same as fans, yes, but as superstars, superstar fan. I mean, that's the thing. It's such a cool story. You know what I mean? Because it's just a really cool story, and it's not a gimmick like the Liver King. It's not ostrich eggs. It's not the shit that we unfortunately have been inundated with. It's just really cool shit. What they're doing is really cool, or what they were doing is really cool. There's talk about a possible Misfits reunion, but without Lenny, I don't know. But they could probably do it. I don't know. The point though of what I'm saying is that, they were worth a lot at a certain point in time. They worked that brand. They worked their content. They were just hot at that point. And they could have sold their stuff to somebody who doesn't want to release it. And that would be something interesting to look into. Maybe they don't want to release it. Why wouldn't they? Again, I've got to say, I know I was finishing up there, but why would you not want to make a shit ton of money and make the fans really happy? I mean, I don't understand. Is it because you don't want to work with Lenny's estate? Or, I mean, what is it? Is it that? Is it that you're scared that some idiot in Lenny's family is going to, come up with a claim and try to... Is that what it is? I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't get it. We're talking... Guys, you guys could be bigger now than you were in 2019 with this never-before-seen, never-before-heard content. And don't say it doesn't exist, because I even have content from this video that probably won't make it, or videos that we have somewhere. I don't know. I'm just saying, listen, I know how pre-production works, and I know how post-production works, and I know that there's a lot of stuff, good stuff, that it goes to the floor. Now, fortunately, we're not literally cutting film, and it is not literally going to the floor. It's all digitally preserved. The clips are all, but you have them and you don't want to release them. So I just don't understand, and I don't want to get, I don't want any more questions like this because I don't understand. That's going to be my answer. Anytime you guys ask me in the future, where is the never before seen, never before heard content? When's it going to come out? I'm going to say I don't know. I just don't know because listen, I've been sitting here for 20 minutes talking about this now, and I still don't know. Do you know? We want the content, guys. Whoever you guys may be, we want the content. Release the content, sell the content. We will buy the content. But where is it? When's it coming out? Why? What's the holdup? I think I probably discussed it here at some point. I don't know where, but I just think that it's just a gold mine. And I would like to threaten them and say, if you don't release it now, it's just never going to be the same. But that's a baseless threat. That's a stupid threat because the more they hold out, the more they hold out, the more valuable it is. So maybe that's what is that what you guys are doing? Are you just holding out? Because you know that we all know there's got to be hours of this stuff. There may even be a full day, a full 24 hours of this stuff. These guys were recording for a decade, guys, basically for a decade. And there's also that grainy, crappy, like, flip phone video stuff that they had from the gym. We want that too. Because remember, the Misfits are not visual only, they're audio. They're probably, I don't know, equally entertaining audio. But people would, let me tell you something, like for like a 3-minute, locker room, like, whatever, like soap opera, if you will, or just like just trolling session because they would troll each other like crazy between Jason and Big Lenny. You tell me if there was a 3-minute audio of that, you wouldn't drop 99 cents or $1.99 or $3.99, whatever. I mean, we're talking about one track though. We're not talking about a subscription or an entire show. We're talking about one track, one clip. I'm telling you, people, they drop $3 for that. And you could make it so encrypted as to where if you heard it, there's just no way you could download it. And if you screen recorded it, like the AI would be so powerful that wherever you uploaded that screen record, it'd be like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't use that content. You know what I mean? They could probably do something like that. And people would spend $3, like no joke. They would spend $3 to listen to that like 2-minute clip with static and all crap. They would do it. So again, I don't know why you guys won't release this content.